In this episode of Retro Gaming Night, we play Bond. James Bond.
This is casually hardcore.
Place the game closing. Game news.
And casually hardcore.
Press start.
Hi there, I'm Mark, and welcome to another episode of Retro Gaming Night. Today we're looking at Goldeneye on the Nintendo 64. Now, this is a first-person shooter developed by Rare, and a quick talk about the development history. Basically, this was going to be a light gun game at some point, so very similar to one, but maybe without the light gun. It quickly changed development though, and became a full first-person shooter. And at the time, most movie games that came out, movie-based games, were generally 2D platforms that were very poor. But Rare changed all that with this. Released a whole year after the film to get it done into high enough quality. This changed the landscape of movie-related games. First time ever we had a movie-related game that was actually fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a bit about this game, show you a few of the levels and features, and why you should play it, and maybe why, if you go back to it now, you might be a little bit disappointed. So if we look here at the start menu, basically you only have limited options. You can either start the game, start the single player, which is filled with a whole bunch of levels from Goldeneye, or you can do the multiplayer, or there's a cheats option. So a quick look at the cheats option. I know this is a bit odd because we haven't even talked about the game yet, but basically when you play the game, each level gives you access to cheats by doing certain things, which is normally complete the level in a certain time. So if you do that, you unlock a certain cheat. Now, other levels have different requirements and different difficulties. So for example, the invincibility cheat requires you to go on facility to complete it in a stupidly fast time, with also the added difficulty of a character that you need to speak to appears in random places in the level, so it's extremely difficult to get. While other ones, like Big Head Mode, you get them for just completing the first level. So yeah, let's talk about the game. The game is based off the Goldeneye film. Every single feature of that film is in this game, basically. They had the blueprints from the film of the sets and stuff like that, and they've really captured the movie in game form perfectly. Even if you've never seen the film, you get a really fantastic idea of what the film's about just from this game. There's no voice acting in this. All the story is told through these dossiers, which just give you the gist of the level and what to do. But obviously if you've seen the film, there are some extra nods and winks to that you'll get as well. So the game has 3 difficulty settings. You've got Agent, Secret Agent, and 00 Agent. So Agent basically just gives you a normally single task to do, and this is where Rare really changed things. Normally games with different difficulty selections just increase the enemy health and the enemy damage. Rare changed it, so if you play on Agent, which is easy, you normally get one objective to do, which normally gets to the end of the level. Play it on Secret Agent, you'll get a few more, which will be get to the end of the level, but along the way you need to get a key card, or you need to take a picture of a spy satellite, or so on. And then obviously you've got 00 Agent as well, which has the full feature. It's basically the full game at that point. Obviously the enemies are more difficult, their AI is better, they've got more health, do more damage and so on, but you get the full experience of actually being James Bond. And that's the thing about this game, you really do feel like James Bond. Not just because of the music, not just because of the way it looks, but because of the way it plays. You have to be careful about enemies, you can't just go in all guns blazing, you have to be stealthy. Obviously you can go in just shooting everything, but you'll make your life even more difficult. So it's all about getting headshots, all about using the silence pistol and using cover to your advantage. You get to play with all James Bond's gadgets as well, so you get the spy camera, you get the laser wristwatch which is used in the film, all used exactly how the film uses them, and in the right places and at the right times. Now this game introduced a lot of cool things, like the sniper scope. It had previously been seen in MDK, but this is the game that made it famous. This is the game that everyone else copied by putting a sniper scope in their game. You know, you really do feel like you're in the boots of James Bond here. Obviously all the characters from the film are in here, so Pierce Brosnan with his slightly blocky face is in there, as well as all the other major characters. Now the really cool thing about this game is that when you shoot people, they don't just have a ragdoll with it, they don't just roll over and die. If you shoot them in the groin, they will grab their groin. Shoot them in the foot, they'll hop on one leg. Shoot them in the head, and their head will knock backwards, knocking their head off. Or you can actually knock their head off separately if you're skillful enough. The game also had loads of clever twists. So like in this level here, which is the very first one, you have to watch out because there is a guard at the end of this section here, who if he spots you, run for an alarm and set it off. So as you can see here, we didn't actually reach him in time. He set off the alarm and more guards appeared. If we'd been more stealthy, we could have taken him out. He wouldn't have taken out the alarm. We could have shot the alarm, and there would have been less guards to deal with. And one of the funnest things about this level here is that there is a locked gate in the second. Now most people have been playing games like Doom and Shulk and stuff like that, and what you need to do with locked gates is find the key card, which will be hidden around the level somewhere. But in this game, you're James Bond, you don't need a key card, you can just shoot the lock off, and that's what makes this game fantastic. It really took normal ideas in first person shooters and really played with them and added to the experience. So this game is chock full of different types of play in the levels. So some levels you have to go through and shoot everything, others you have to be stealthy. There's a level where you drive a tank, for example. There's all sorts of fun stuff in here. You know, Rare did a fantastic job at capturing James Bond. So if you're wondering which system to play this on, obviously you can only play it on the N64. It's not been released on anything else. Basically, you'll be a little bit let down if you have played this in the past. Graphically, it still looks okay. The frame rate is the major problem. You're looking at 15 frames per second here, maybe 20 at best. It's something that's hard to go back to after a while. The controls are also a little bit difficult now. Before, at the time, they were fantastic. You had the one analog stick and you use the R button to help you aim more precisely. As you can see here, in this section, we are using the R trigger to basically bring up the fine aim to shoot off the hats of the enemies and stuff like that. But going from dual analog sticks to this is quite tough. There is actually a secret mode in here where you can use two controllers to have the dual analog stick effect, and that works really well. So all you do is go into the options by pushing starts on the wristwatch and change controls there and use the two controllers. The sound in this game is phenomenal. You know, there is no sort of high beat music, there is nothing sort of licensed in there. It is all subtle music that really fits in, and obviously you've got the classic James Bond theme in there as well. You know, Rare did a fantastic job of taking the first person shooter genre and really turning it on its head. This is definitely a classic. This defined first person shooters for quite a few years after release. But we can't leave this video without talking about the multiplayer, so we're not showing the multiplayer here. But very quickly, 4-player split screen with your mates, the end. It's as basic as it comes. They put it in as an afterthought almost. It took them 6 months to develop it. There are some maps in there that are standalone, and there are some which take bits of levels and turn them into a map. And they are all absolutely fantastic. There's loads of game modes in here, so you can control what weapons you use. You can have slappers only, where you're just slapping people. You can choose from tons of characters. You've even got characters like Oddjob in there, and everyone who's played this knows that no one is allowed to play as Oddjob because he's too short. But it's a simple multiplayer experience that's basically first to whatever the score limit is. You do have capture the flag and stuff like that in there, but it is as diluted as possible in its purest form. And basically that's what makes it so much fun and why everyone has spent hundreds of hours playing Goldeneye. So if you've never played it before, you should give it a go. Keep an open mind, especially when it comes to the graphics and frame rate. It might take you an hour or two to kind of get used to them, but you'll realise what a fun game this is, and actually how difficult the 00 Agent mode is. Even Agent mode and its difficulties, because there's no regenerating health in this game. It's definitely a classic. It's definitely from its own era, but it has so much fun in there, and that definitely does need a revisit. So don't forget to leave your comments down below, and if you like this video, hit that like button as well at the same time, and until next time, stay casually hardcore.
Did you enjoy that video? Then hit that like button. Why not subscribe as well and get the latest videos, news and competitions? Don't forget to check out casuallyhardcore.com, where you can buy hundreds of video game shirts and geek clothing, or make your own shirts with worldwide shipping also available. Until next time, stay casually hardcore.